Alright, time for the last bad ending, or the official bad ending of Kazue Soma's Route. And we're in chapter 4 with low romance, high corruption, and we're gonna do most of the same choices as we did for the unrequited love ending, with the exception of making him endure his bloodlust episode. So, we'll just see our beautiful husbando who dragged us across Japan last time. Oh, that was so funny. Still not over that. So we'll see what happens here. Whether Miki will have yet another ending. Yeah, because Dad's already dead. I was gonna say, or maybe Dad, but I forgot that Amagiri right here is like, by the way, did you hear your dad died? Yeah, I did actually. Didn't tell the player, but yeah, Dad's dead. So, yay. So yeah, I mean, it could be Miki. I don't think Cosmo would come again after what just went down. Trying to think how else it could end, really. There's not a lot more opportunity for things to happen. Well, we'll see. We're getting to our other choice. Alright, here's the only difference for this end. Make him endure it. Without blood or medicine to offer him, I could only bide my time until the pain had subsided. He writhed uncontrollably, gasping for air. So I held on to him. Soma!
Go! Go!
Soma flipped over, facing his back to me as his body flailed in response to his torturous side effects.
I'm fine, compared to the pain that Nomura had suffered. This is nothing.
Poor Nomura. He convulsed throughout the night, and I wiped the saliva frothing at his mouth so he wouldn't choke. Poor boy! His symptoms had finally calmed around dawn, but the damage had been done. My poor Soma! Goodness gracious. That's gotta be one of the worst bouts of bloodlust I think any of the guys have gone through. Yeesh. Okay, so now we just gotta wait for Toshi to die, which is now. And again, we say nothing. But we'll follow you with the flag and watch you become chief again. Or not. Interesting. Okay. With the messenger's directions, we ran toward the direction of Benten Fortress, which stood under a plume of fiery smoke that blackened the sky.
Look! Over there!
A silhouette emerged in the murky haze, and Soma stopped dead in his tracks to squint. The sunlight obscured the silhouette even further, making it tough for us to discern who it was. What if Miki got here before us and actually managed to kill Toshi this time? In his right hand, however, was a sword stained with a sticky coat of fresh blood. As the smoke cleared, we could make out red splotches covering the figure from head to toe. Had Hijikata emerged safely? Or was it? You're late. How rude of you. The voice's haunting tenor made my hair stand. All of a sudden, it made sense as to why the silhouette was sodden with gruesome remains. It looks pretty clean to me.
Miki, you've come to Ezo, have you?
Well, the Imperial Army needs its heads, and who am I to deny my audience its spectacle? Although I wasn't able to add Kondo, Harada, Nagakura, or Saito to my collection, I nabbed Hijikata's just in time. I suppose the man who ordered the death of my brother will do. Funny how life works out. My blood boiled at the mere thought of Miki's revelation, and I screamed at him. Well, he got his revenge in 2 endings. What did you say? Oh, did I ruin the surprise? Take a gander at my feet, if you dare. What are you doing? Kicking his head along like a soccer ball, man? A cloud of dust kicked up, and there, lying in a pool of blood at Miki's feet, was Hijikata, recognized by his black coat with gold trimmings and his family crest emblazoned. Aww.
Hijikata!
Soma screamed with all of his might, but Hijikata didn't budge. I gasped, fearing the worst. Veins began to bulge from the top of Soma's wide forehead as he shot a hateful glare in Miki's direction. Do we have to call Soma's forehead wide? Then Soma unleashed the brunt of his misery.
How dare you kill Hijikata! I'll make you regret ever coming here!
A terrifying aura radiated from Soma's enraged body, and he lifted his arm, pointing the tip of his blade at Miki. Just how do you plan on doing that? Does the memory of me shaming you at Kofu not ring any bells, you petulant numbskull? This time, though, Soma was unafraid. His glare rivaled Miki's, and the two were embroiled in a battle of wills, each warrior ready to avenge the memory of the man whom they'd lost. Soma!
Step back, miss.
Alright. No? Okay. I'm like, this is familiar territory. But!
Please. You have to trust me. There's no other way. You know that.
This was the tipping point. The culmination of Soma overcoming his deepest anxieties. Miki, however, took his strength from a similar kind of emotional unrest, but had proven himself as a capable warrior in their last duel. I stepped back in trepidation. Honestly, you should have just told her to skip on back to Goroyokaku. At least there she wouldn't have to watch me hack you to pieces, right? I must admit, it's a little cruel to subject someone to traveling all the way to Ezo just to watch you die.
Enough of your mockery, just come at me. If not, I'll go for you first.
Soma kicked at the ground, raising his arm in the air to jab Miki with his sword. Technique gave way to rage in Soma's movements. He's given into his anger. Oh my, Miki's like, huh? What the? This seemingly caught Miki off guard as he shifted his footing at the last minute. Soma had apparently vanished. Then he appeared, throwing an endless stream of slashes toward Miki, who avoided them all. My, look at the spring in your step. Glad to see you haven't slouched recently. But I've seen enough. Your swordsmanship is pitiful, and I've elsewhere to be.
Shut up!
Soma cocked his arm back, ready to throw all of his weight into a calculated strike toward Miki, but he was too slow, and Miki used superhuman speed to dodge the strike, causing Soma to hesitate. Then, if you plan on taking my head off, then you'd better try harder than that, boy. Looks like you've forgotten that I, too, was once a warrior of the Shinsengumi. I know all the tricks. In the span of a second, Miki smirked and flipped his blade to carve through Soma's abdomen. Huh. No! I cried out in desperation, watching blood splatter into the air like a geyser. Ooh. I winced, hearing Miki's blade crack through Soma's ribcage through the surge of blood. Blood froth from his lips, sputtering forth like a clogged aqueduct ready to burst. Ugh. When the dust had cleared, Miki swatted his blade toward the ground, and Soma's body slammed to the floor with a dull thud. Soma! Soma! I sprinted over to his body, grabbing a fistful of cloth with my hands as I called his name. But I could only see the glassy whites of his eyes, and no breath came from those supple lips. Oh! Soma was gone. Never again could I savor the sound of his sweet voice, or feel the gentle touch of his embrace. Emptiness swirled inside of me. My body went numb, and every other sensation was replaced by inexorable rage. I'll... Soma's hand was kept clasped tightly inside of mine as I growled a curse at Miki. I will never forgive you! I'll avenge him! I jumped to my feet and unsheathed my Kodachi. In that moment, Miki sneered at me with a cold gaze. Before I'd even had a chance to move, I felt a sharp, icy piece of steel burrow into my chest. Shocking. You know, I only came here for Hijikata. I never planned to kill him, so if he hadn't charged at me, he would still be alive. But now all of you can reunite in the afterlife. With 2 heads, my vengeance is complete, and they'll most certainly hold a parade in my name. Well, I'm glad he's happy about his parade. I guess. Miki took pleasure in forcing the blade deeper into my chest cavity, and I struggled to draw breath due to the immense pain. Keep those pretty eyes of yours closed. You'll see each other soon enough. The blade twisted inside of me, and soon all of the strength in my limbs began to give out. I failed him. I failed everyone. I can't let you take either Hijikata or Soma. My ramblings fell upon deaf ears, and Miki simply pressed his sword deeper into me. Eesh. I focused all of my strength on my right hand. Once I was in range, I drove my Kodachi into his heart. Whoa, girl got him! What the hell are you? With each blink, my vision began to blur, and I had trouble making out any details. But fear had left me. I had nothing else to lose. I shut my eyes, trying to conjure an image of Soma before it faded with everything else. If we could meet in the afterlife, what would I say? I'm sorry, Soma. Wow! The one ending where Miki died, and Chizuru was the one that got him. I think that's gotta be one of my proudest moments of Chizuru. That was incredible. I can't believe she actually got Miki. Well, so much for his parade, I guess, but wow! I mean, I know you killed my boy, but you know what? Well done on you, girl. You avenged Soma and Hijikata. They would both be very proud of you. Whew. Well, those were some great endings, I must say. Aside from the unrequited love. That one was kind of meh. But otherwise, some really good endings. And I think I figured out where to put this boy on my list. I really enjoyed his route. It had some of the funniest moments. Some of the most tear-jerking moments in the entire game. It just felt very long to me because there was a lot of historical stuff that needed to happen. So it just felt like ages before any kind of romance was developed. But at least they once the romance did get properly established, it was really nice and well done, and handled better than Shin's was, for example. But it was also just super drawn out, super slow burn. Even longer than Toshi's, I'd argue. So, with all of that taken into account, I think... Where did I put him? Oh yeah. So I put him in between Heisuke and Hachiro. So he's in like the bottom part of my list. So right now, as my list stands, I have Keisuke, Soji, Hajime, Suzumu, Sano, Heisuke, Kazue, Hachiro, Toshi, and Shin as my list so far. And then we got 2 more boys after that. And then my list will be done, and then we'll do final thoughts and stuff. But that's getting way ahead of myself. Let's not wish this delightful game away just yet. There's still some great stuff still to come, I'm sure. But thank you guys very much for joining me for these endings. No, do not start this and copyright strike me, please. Thank you very much. But yeah, so we're done with Kazue Soma's route, which means it's back to England exchange. And unfortunately, we've got a real douche canoe route to go back to. I'm curious. I'm really curious, though. It's Brendan, in case you hadn't figured it out. He's up next for our boy Flanagan. And I'm not entirely sure how we're gonna get started on his route. Maybe we just have to be with nobody and then something happens, but I am intrigued, to say the least. So, if you're intrigued and want to see how that's gonna go down, hopefully I'll see you over there, guys. Thanks again for joining me, and until next time, I will see you later.